But when we make those savings...
It's going to be about people.
And when
you can't say this is going to be pain-free.
No, but what I am saying is it will deliver better public services. I would rather we had people employed by the NHS working in our hospitals rather than in a government department. So this is about doing things differently, putting money where people see it most.
Believe that you're telling your colleagues we need to take 10% out without any idea how many of those are going to be actual jobs. I just cannot believe.
Rachel Reeves claimed the UK faced a £22 billion black hole, justifying her punishing tax increases and spending cuts. But when Trevor Phillips pressed her on these figures, she crumbled under questioning, unable to explain basic inconsistencies in her economic narrative. Watch as Phillips methodically dismantles Reeves's financial claims on live television, leaving her stammering through excuses. This isn't just political theatre, it's a revealing moment that exposes the flimsy justifications behind Labour's austerity measures that will impact millions of ordinary families. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. The infamous £22 billion black hole has become the cornerstone of Rachel Reeves's economic narrative since taking office. But when Trevor Phillips began probing this figure during their television confrontation, the Chancellor's confidence quickly evaporated.
The economy, and I'll make no apologies for doing that, because it's not the wealthy and the most privileged who lose out when the economy is unstable. It's ordinary working people and costs of borrowing go up, who see that uncertainty in the economy having a direct impact on their living standards. I have returned stability to the economy, and that was the right thing to do.
It's reported that you want to cut civil service costs by 10%. What is it that civil servants are doing now that we don't really need have done?
Phillips, known for his methodical interview style, didn't just question the number, he systematically dismantled its credibility, piece by piece. What made this exchange particularly revealing was Phillips's focus on the Office for Budget Responsibility. When he pressed Reeves on whether the OBR had actually validated this £22 billion figure, her evasiveness spoke volumes. The OBR, as Britain's independent economic watchdog, should have been the natural authority to confirm such a significant deficit. Yet Phillips exposed that this critical validation was conspicuously absent, immediately casting doubt on the number's legitimacy. The interview took a devastating turn when Phillips identified a glaring logical fallacy in Reeves's reasoning. She essentially argued that the deficit existed because her spending plans wouldn't work without tax increases. A perfect example of circular reasoning that left viewers questioning whether the financial situation was being accurately portrayed at all. This moment of intellectual dishonesty suggested something more troubling, that the narrative was being manipulated to support predetermined policy decisions.
How many civil servants are going to lose their jobs in broad terms? Okay, I'm not asking you for, 532 or 5,027, but broadly speaking...
But I would rather have people working on the front line in our schools and our hospitals and our police rather than in back office jobs. So this isn't just about...
No, but you have to be straight with people.
We've said a 10 to 15%, 15% by the end of the Parliament, reduction in admin budgets. In admin budgets. So that includes...
Financial experts quoted in Phillips' line of questioning didn't mince words about the £22 billion figure, with several describing it as manufactured and politically convenient, rather than reflecting economic reality. Their analysis suggests the alleged black hole stems from Labour's own spending ambitions, rather than inherited financial problems, a complete reversal of the government's official position. Perhaps the most damning moment came when Phillips asked why, if this financial crisis was so severe, the Labour Party barely mentioned it during their election campaign. The question hung in the air as Reeves struggled to reconcile this glaring inconsistency. If the country was truly facing such dire financial straits, wouldn't this have featured prominently in Labour's messaging to voters? As Phillips continued his methodical dissection, Reeves's credibility visibly crumbled. When confronted with her own contradictory statements about public finances, her inability to provide clear, consistent answers left viewers questioning her competence as Chancellor. The interview revealed not just confusion, but the possibility of deliberate misdirection, constructing a financial crisis to justify tax increases that were always part of the plan. Beyond the manufactured black hole, Phillips's interview with Reeves revealed an even more troubling pattern: her willingness to dismiss credible research that contradicted her economic narrative. When Phillips presented her with the Joseph Rowntree Foundation's comprehensive report on rising poverty in Britain, Reeves's reaction was nothing short of astonishing. "This is one of Britain's most respected research institutions," Phillips pressed, "and their findings directly contradict your claim that your policies will help struggling families." Rather than engaging with the evidence, Reeves swiftly dismissed the Foundation's research, claiming tax increases were simply a necessary evil to keep the country from financial ruin. What makes this dismissal particularly jarring is the Joseph Rowntree Foundation's sterling reputation for objective poverty research spanning decades. Instead of addressing their findings that her policies would disproportionately burden those already struggling, Reeves chose to brush aside expert analysis that didn't fit her predetermined economic storyline. The hypocrisy reached spectacular heights when Phillips highlighted Reeves's recent attendance at a VIP concert at London's O2 Arena. The image of the Chancellor enjoying exclusive perks while simultaneously pushing austerity measures affecting millions of ordinary Britons created a visual contrast that viewers couldn't ignore. Phillips masterfully juxtaposed these contradictions. You're telling families they must tighten their belts while you're enjoying VIP treatment at concerts. How do you reconcile these positions? Reeves's fumbling response revealed the fundamental disconnect between Labour's campaign promises and their current governing approach. Throughout the election, Labour positioned themselves as champions of working families, yet their first major economic actions have placed additional burdens on those very households. When cornered on these contradictions, Reeves repeatedly attempted to pivot away from Phillips's direct questions. Each deflection only reinforced the growing impression that she was unable or unwilling to reconcile Labour's pre-election promises with their current actions. The pattern became unmistakable: reject inconvenient data, change the subject, and fall back on the manufactured crisis narrative. Public reaction to the interview was swift and unforgiving. Social media erupted with criticism from voters across the political spectrum, many expressing feeling betrayed by a party that had promised a different approach to governance. Political commentators noted how Phillips had exposed not just a chancellor struggling to defend controversial policies, but a concerning pattern of rejecting expert evidence that didn't align with predetermined conclusions. What we witnessed in that interview wasn't just Trevor Phillips catching a minister off guard, it was the unravelling of Labour's entire economic strategy. The confrontation exposed a government willing to fabricate financial emergencies to justify policies they'd planned all along. This pattern of manipulation should concern every voter who trusted Labour to govern with integrity. When Phillips pressed for straight answers, Reeves's evasion spoke volumes about the party's relationship with truth. Now ordinary families are left holding the bill for Labour's deception, while wondering if any of their campaign pledges meant anything at all. The question remains, if they'll lie about the foundations of their economic policy, what else are they hiding?